They fit the mask over your face and ask you to count backward from 10. 10, 9, 8, and then, with no sense of any gap at all, someone is gently saying your name in a bright room, and it's over. Hours have passed. Your body has been operated on, but to you, none of it happened. No darkness, no dream, no waiting, just a clean cut and the far side of it. So where exactly did you go? We tell ourselves anesthesia is just a very deep sleep. It isn't, and the difference is the whole mystery. When you sleep, time still moves. Part of you stays on watch. A loud noise, your name, a hand on your shoulder, and you surface. You dream. You sense, dimly, that a night went by. Under general anesthesia, none of that is true. No one can gently wake you. You don't dream, and you feel no passage of time at all. This isn't a deeper sleep. It's a different state entirely. One where, in a very real sense, there was no one there to be asleep. And notice how total it is. A surgeon can open your body, your heart can race, your reflexes can fire. And none of it reaches you. There's no dim, distant version of you flinching somewhere in the back of your mind. The line between you and the world isn't just turned down. For a while, it's simply gone. Start with the part that makes no sense, the missing time. Why do the hours feel like nothing, not even a long black blank? Because your sense of time isn't a clock ticking in your head. It's built from experience, your brain recording a stream of moments, one after another, marking the edges between them. Take away the moments, and you take away the time. Under anesthesia, nothing gets recorded, and not because your memory was switched off. It's stranger than that. There were no experiences to record in the first place. No moments, no duration. The hours collapse into a single, seamless cut, because for you, nothing ever happened inside them at all. It's the same machinery we've followed before. No moments recorded, no time felt, pushed to its limit. Not a few minutes lost after a doorway, but hours erased so cleanly they don't leave even the shape of a gap. Which raises the real question. What is the drug actually doing up there? The obvious guess is that it simply switches your brain off, like flipping a light. But that's not it. Under anesthesia, your neurons are still firing. Your brain is still warm, still active, still busy. The anesthetic doesn't silence it. It does something quieter and far more interesting. It stops the different parts of your brain from talking to each other. And here's a fact that should genuinely surprise you. We do this to millions of people every single day, and we still don't fully understand how it works. We know these drugs switch off consciousness reliably and safely, but the exact reason a molecule in your bloodstream can dissolve your entire inner world remains, honestly, an open problem. And that word, dissolve, is the clue, and that points straight at one of the deepest ideas in all of science, a leading theory of what consciousness even is. The idea is that your awareness doesn't live in any single spot in your brain. There's no little room where you sit. Instead, consciousness seems to emerge from integration, from billions of separate signals, sight and sound and touch and memory and self, all being woven together, in real time, into one unified experience, one unbroken now. And anesthesia appears to cut exactly those threads. The individual regions keep working. They just stop combining into a whole. Researchers can even watch it happen. Send a gentle magnetic pulse into an awake brain, and the response spreads outward, echoing across regions, complex and alive, a genuine conversation. Send the very same pulse under anesthesia, and it just lands and dies where it hit. No spread, no echo. It's as if the brain breaks into islands, each one still lit, still working, but marooned, unable to reach the others. And consciousness, the theory goes, was never in the islands. It lived in the bridges between them. Pull the bridges, and every light can stay on while the whole country goes dark. The conversation is gone. Now put those two things together, and the gap finally makes sense. With the threads cut, there is no unified mind to have an experience. And, this is the part that's hard to hold in your head, there is also no one left inside to notice the absence. That's why it isn't like lying in the dark. Darkness is still something. Someone has to be there to see it. This was nothing from the inside, because there was no inside. The film wasn't paused while you sat watching a blank screen. The screen, the projector, and the audience were all briefly switched off together. This is the moment people tend to go quiet, because that gap is the closest almost any of us will ever come to experiencing our own absence. A few hours where there simply was no you. Not asleep, not dreaming, just not. And it should be unsettling. But here is the other half, and it's oddly steadying. You came back. The threads found each other again. The regions relinked, the signals rewove, and you came back together. The same memories, the same self, out of the very same pieces. Which tells you something quietly enormous about what you are. The you hearing this isn't a solid object that got switched off and on. It's more like a pattern, a process your brain is running, one that can stop completely, leave no trace, and then simply start again. And none of this is settled, by the way. Consciousness is still one of the great open questions. Anesthesia just gives us one of the only windows into it, millions of times a day, in complete safety. So the next time someone calls it just a deep sleep, you'll know it's something much weirder. For a few hours, the quiet process that assembles your entire world, that binds a storm of signals into a single, seamless sense of being here, came apart, and then, on its own, put itself back together. You didn't miss the time. There was no you to miss it. And that empty, perfect cut may be the clearest look you will ever get at what your consciousness actually is. Not a thing you have, but a thing your brain is endlessly, quietly doing. Some of the strangest things in the world are the ones happening to you every single day. You've just never stopped to ask why.